right, folks, good evening again. One real quick video before I go cook dinner. And so I spent the majority of the day poring over the search warrant, the affidavit for search warrant from November 7th of 2005. And, this entire bullshit piece of quote unquote police work just really irritates the crap out of me. And I mean, I'm having a hard time not getting angrier and angrier at Wiegert. It irritates the ever-loving shit out of me. So in this search warrant, well, we at least find out how tall Stephen Avery is. He's 5'6", and at the time he weighed 218 pounds. Now, I know a lot of people would cite that as he could have easily overpowered her, and yeah, he could have. He very easily could have overpowered her. What that also means is that he very easily could have carried her to and from his house and his garage and to the burn pit. So why would he feel the need to chop her up? I mean, if you're going to throw a whole body into a fire, there's no point in chopping up the corpse. It doesn't make any sense here, folks. Now, they state as probable cause for searching Stephen Avery himself and for photographing him and, collecting samples from him. They state as probable cause that on November 6th, they found 11 spent .22 shell casings. Now, this is significant, folks. The reason why it is significant is because they never took those shell casings and they never took the gun and fired it. They never did any ballistics testing on that at all. And you can do ballistics testing on spent shell casings because let's see. Okay, this is a really crappy example. Bear with me. Say this is a bullet, okay? Here's the tip. Here's the casing. When the hammer strikes the end of the bullet, strikes the bottom of the bullet, it will leave an indentation on the bottom of the casing. And these indentations are extremely unique to each gun. I have yet to see a ballistics report. I have yet to see anything about a ballistics report. And if they didn't do any ballistics testing on the casings, then it's kind of inadmissible as evidence. Now, Deputy Kucharski, in this warrant, and again, I'll leave, the link down there. No, not there, you sick puppy. I'll leave it in the description. I'm so cheesy sometimes I scare myself. Now, Deputy Kucharski in this warrant it's stated in this warrant that he's the one who found the key, but on the stand, he states that it's Detective Link who finds the motherfucking key. Did somebody drop Judge Fox on his head as a child? Because I'm sorry, but, the fact that Kucharski pretty much perjured himself, and if he didn't perjure himself, he sure as fuck implicated Wiegert in perjury. That's grounds for a mistrial. Right there. Because Kucharski states that it was Detective Link who found the key, and that he admits that he wasn't even watching at the time that Detective Link found the key. And what I find interesting is they mention the burned clothing in the barrel, but I have yet to see an evidence collection report that says anything about what kind of clothing. I know that they say they found a little rivet from her jeans, but what kind of clothing? You're supposed to document that. You're supposed, charred t-shirt, originally white in color, blah, blah, blah. You're supposed to fucking chart that. They didn't chart it. Now, in this report, it states that the blood that is identified as Stephen Avery's is on the ignition, that little smear near the ignition. The passenger seat. Why the fuck would his blood be on the passenger seat? Oh, because Colburn probably slipped when he was planning it. And the rear passenger door entrance. Why the fuck would Stephen Avery be going into the back of her car? Does nobody... Okay, folks, when you are a forensic analyst, part of your job is to sort of go through your head and think, okay, what would I do in this situation? How would a smear that looks like that get on the area next to the ignition? And sort of run ideas, because, if the cut was here, how the fuck how do you do that? How do you get that smear there? I mean, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, if you're turning, I guess, but see, the cut would have to be here in order for that to do something. I mean, it doesn't make any sense, folks. And on top of that, but why on God's green fucking earth would you go to the back passenger door if you're just disposing of her car? If you're just putting it there, why would you disconnect the battery cables and not want that car moved? That's the car of a missing woman that you just murdered. Why would you want it on your property? That doesn't make sense, folks. And you know what? Between the time of the murder, which again, they cannot tell if it happened Halloween night or days later. They just can't, folks. I'm sorry. They've got at least a window between October 31st and November 3rd that she was probably still alive. And that's a significant window for Stephen Avery. There is no reason why that man would have left that car there. It doesn't make sense. I mean, yeah, okay, his family owned the salvage yard, but she's a missing fucking person. Sooner or later, people are going to notice that she's missing. You get rid of the evidence. Duh. You don't fucking leave it on your property. Why would he get into the back seat? What the fuck is his blood doing on the passenger seat? It doesn't make sense, folks. It doesn't. And if he was turning the ignition and left blood of himself all over her fucking car, why would he clean up the blood in his garage, wipe down the entire fucking car of his fingerprints, wipe down the hood latch, and thus obliterate all evidence of his fingerprints, and yet he wouldn't think to grab that same fucking volatile mixture of gasoline, paint thinner, and bleach, and at least bleach out the stains in her car? That doesn't make sense, folks. That's what I'm trying to say here. This entire case, and even Kratz himself said it, it is an entirely circumstantial forensic case. And it makes no sense whatsoever motherfucking ever. All right, folks. I am going to go grill up some pork chops. I hope I just made you all hungry. And I will see you in my next video later on this evening. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you soon.